Hey everyone, no shaving today. I'm going to talk about one of my favourite shaving subjects, Wecks. All the different types, how you recognise them, what blades you can use, how much they cost, where you get them all from. And so, yeah, I'm going to start with this one, which is a Weck Sexta blade. You can tell it's a Sexta blade because it's got Sexta blade written on it. And a lot of them, but not all of them, have this patented date, and that says PATD July 2709 for 1909. And this one is my favourite Sexta blade. I don't know why, I just really like it. Came in a very pretty box, some blade holders, and that's number one. Number two is very similar, and again this one says Sexta blade on the blade holder, but this one has no patented date on it. So they don't all have patented dates. And until I found this one, I didn't realise that was true. But yeah, so if you see a patented date or the word Sexta blade, it's a Sexta blade. The next one does have the date on, does have Sexta blade on, and that is the trade sample Weck. It also says trade sample, not for sale. In every other way, it's very similar, not quite identical in terms of the printing, but it's very similar to the first one, and that's the trade sample Weck. The fourth one is pretty much identical to the trade sample in terms of the spine of it, but this has got custom scales on it, and this was done by my friend Tim White, and that's a wooden handled Weck, and so I use it one occasionally. It's very nice. But yes, custom scales on that one. So that's Sexta blade number 4. There's another type which is the same length as a Sexta blade, and that's the Weck Junior. The only real difference between the two, as you can see, the length is the same and the scale length is the same. It's all a bit thinner. And I like this Junior. See, it's all a bit thinner. And it's such one of the things I like about Wecks is you can just move them around quite quick. They just glide and they're just very, very nice. And this one being lighter, it's probably just a little bit more. So if you've got big hands, maybe a Sexta may be better. But yeah, the Weck Junior is a good choice as well. These are quite rare. I keep looking for them. I've tried to help Frank Stromberg find one recently, well, they don't come up very often, but they are very, very nice alternatives to a Sexta blade. So if you get a Sexta blade or a Junior, you're quite sorted out. So that's the Junior. This one is also a Sexta blade, but it's the surgical prep Sexta blade. Let's have a look. No painted date, but it says Sexta blade on the spine, and these were issued to Army medics. It's got the US Army Medical Corps badge on it. I've also seen vet ones as well. So yeah, but these, because they're issued rather than bought for shaving, you can tend to find the surgical prep ones in near mint condition more readily than you find conventional Sexta blades. You see the difference, the metal scales, tiny bit shorter, but they are a bit wider and also a bit heavier as well. For me, I like really light razors, which aren't like Sexta blade, so I slightly prefer this one because it's lighter. But you know, a lot of people prefer more weight if that's what they're used to. So that's the surgical prep Sexta blade. But there's another surgical prep one, which isn't a Sexta blade, and that's the surgical prep knife. Now these are very rare, and these are very expensive usually. And this one again was a gift, and a very kind gift. But this one, you're supposed to use it as a camisori. I find this butter knife grip handle quite awkward to hold because I have a bit of a strange grip when I use these. I tend to pinch it between my fingers. I've got long nails because I play the guitar. So I find that easier than using that camisori style, just because I find it hard to find a grip. But that is, if you do like camisoris, if you're prepared to pay a lot of money, the Weck surgical prep knife is another alternative. So that's number 6. And something you see a lot of, and they go quite cheaply, is hair shapers. This one's got a guard on it. But the one snag with hair shapers is their size. They're quite a bit shorter. So for me, that I'm not a big guy, I don't have big hands, but I find that easier to use than something like that. Especially when I have the goatee, sort of trying to see around your fingers to sort of go down there was quite difficult. But yeah, if you can cope with the smaller razor, you can pick one of those up a lot cheaper than you can a Sexta blade. Usually you can get cheap Sexta blades or a junior. But yeah, the Weck Sexta blade, a nice razor. I don't use it very often, and I'll tell you it's a lot more difficult to use because of its length than the Sexta blade, so be careful using those. If you see the word hair shaper on it, it's not as easy as that. So that's the Weck Sexta blade. I'll give some honorary mentions in terms of hair shapers. That's a modern hair shaper. It's the same length as the Weck, takes blades the same problems of length, but that thing you can pick up on Amazon for a few quid. So yeah, that's a modern hair shaper. And another company, don't think quite as easy to get in the US as they are in Europe, Kismet. These are pretty much the same length as a Sexta blade, fraction shorter. The scales and a fraction shorter in the spine. There's a few of these. If you get the one with a black button on the spine, you'll get something that's Sexta blade length. If you get one without, I think they're hair shaper length. So then you'll again have that problem about having the small razor with minimum room to hold it, and all the problems that come along with it. So if you buy a Kismet, yeah, look for the black button, and then you know it's a Sexta blade length razor. The next one to talk about is blades. In Europe, we love these things. They're very smooth, quite expensive, but you do get a lot of shaves out of them. I probably, well, easily over 10, towards 15 if I'm, very light. So yeah, Kismet's great blades. Obviously, with the Kismet razor, that's what it takes. Because these other ones, the Persona hair shapers, are often a lot cheaper, a lot easier to get in the US. The spine on those, if I can remove one without, there's a hair shaper blade. This is a Kismet, so by the no cutaways there. The spine area of the blade is slightly wider on a Kismet than it is on a Persona. Now the Sexta blade, the metal is pliable enough to actually cope with both blade types, but with a Kismet, if I put a Persona in that one, it would be quite loose. With this one, it's quite a nice fit. So yeah, with a Kismet, you can't use Personas. You can get some older blades. There's a couple of types. There's the actual Weck blades, and I think the top ones are Wickies. I've tried these. They're a bit rough. I'd much prefer the modern blades. So I have them. It's nice to have them, especially these old Weck ones, but they usually just live in that box, and I don't touch them. So yes, they're the ones you want, Personas or Kismets. Cost-wise, hair shapers, you can pick them up for about £5. Juniors and Sexta blades, I've never paid more than £20 for one, and some of them I've got for as little as £6. So it's worth being very patient, and you will find, if you do so, you can save yourself a lot of money. If you look on eBay, you can see some for over 100, and I wouldn't pay it. See some for about 60, I wouldn't pay that either. I'm not saying I'm cheap, because I think I am, but I'd rather try and get some value, and like that one I think cost me about £16. This one was an absolute bargain. I got that for £6. So it's worth being patient. Availability wise, 99%. I know Ewan got one that he got from somebody in Europe, but most of them you'll find in the US. I mean, if you look at the stamp on here, New York, USA, they had a factory in Brooklyn. So most of them will be in the US, which for us guys in Europe, obviously we're going to have to pay postage, which you're going to take into account, and that's often, for a lot of the razors I've bought, that's been more than the actual cost of the razor. Obviously for the guys in the US, you don't have to do that. So those are my selection of Wecks. I'm down to about 8. I've given a couple away over the months, and I will be giving another one away in a while when I do a competition. Well, it'll be an option because not everyone would want a Weck extra blade, but it will be one of the options I'll be offering for the price. Okay, well I hope this video helps, and everyone has a great weekend. Right, thanks, bye bye.